I don't have any weak points. And all I have to do now is get my posing routine down perfect, which is almost impossible to do now.
One more, same weight, Hank.
I'm not done fight. I'm from more weight. Let's go.
Oh, I beat him.
Make it harder.
You have to do everything possible to win, no matter what. And so all those things, are available. And so if they're available, you might as well use them. So that's why it doesn't matter if he comes in shape or out of shape. If he comes out of shape, at least it has less hassle for me, And if he's in shape, fine. I hope he is.
Those arms grow, man. Come on, Lou. Come on, get it up, get it up. You do the work. Come on.
If you want to be a champion, you cannot have any kind of an outside negative force coming in and affect you, because I cannot be bothered with it. So I trained myself for that. When my father died, because my mother called me on the phone and she said, your dad died. And this was exactly 2 months before Congress. She said, do you come home to the funeral? I said, no. It's too late, he's dead, there's nothing to be done. And I'm sorry, I can't come,
So the question really is what puts you over the top? It is the mind that really creates the body. It's the mind that makes you really work out the 4 or 5 hours a day. It is the mind that visualizes of what the body ought to look like as the finished product. When I used to do seminars on how to become a champion, I would always ask people, why do you want to be a champion? Or what do you want to accomplish? Why are you training? And they will, if a guy would get up and he would say, well, I want to train because I think that if I get muscular and, I feel like I'm getting the kind of definition, then I maybe can enter a bodybuilding competition. I said, sit down. I said, if you think this way, you're going to be a loser. You're never going to make it because there's no maybe. You got to get up and say, I want to be a champion. And I do whatever it takes. The amount of hours it takes, the posing, the this, the that, the visualization, looking at training footage, looking at motivational books, reading this, whatever it takes, I would do. That's the answer I want to hear from you. You can detect right away those that are going to be shaky and that will fall behind and they will not go all the way, and those that are very hungry. And that hunger you have to develop because you have to create a goal for yourself, whatever that may be, a short-term goal and a long-term goal. You got to go after that. And if you do not see it, and if you do not believe it, who else will? The body is very important, but the mind is more important than the body. We have to visualize what that body ought to look like in order to make it win, because that's what creates then the will that you need to go to the gym every day, the will that makes you go into the 4 reps, the will that makes you go beyond and you do 500-pound reps in the squats and you can't do another rep and your body is shaking. It's the will that makes you go one more time down and struggle up one more time. And so it's all of this, so the mental aspect that motivates you and that makes the difference between you being in the gym full of joy and looking forward to doing that extra rep and looking forward to doing those extra 100 reps in the sit-ups and working past the pain barriers. That all is the mind. That's not the body. So this is why I think the body is very important, but the mind is more important than the body.
Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Remember, if you're training hard, he may be training twice as hard. You just got to keep coming back stronger. Right. All the way, Louis. You'll never get this chance again. All the way.
They should have it in a month for him. He's not even in shape yet. I mean, gee, he didn't get the timing right. I'm telling you. A month from now would have been perfect for you. But then I get bigger to do it again. So, if you retire this year, you just guys never had the Olympia, but you had twice the universe with the help. That's not too bad either. You know, it's amazing. Can you imagine the feeling I have 6 times Mr. Olympia?
I told you found the fountain of youth. You could go on forever.
It blows my mind when I think
People
about
are
it.
going to get so tired.
I called my mother yesterday already and I said I won. She says, congratulations, Arnold, you know.
Then you look at the crowd, Louis. They're all looking at your flash bulbs are going to go off and everything. Then you put your arms like this. You look at your arms like you're admiring, right? You're admiring what you're going to show them. And then you go, boom, like you're saying, take a look at this hunk of man. Something like that, okay? You're trying.
The body is not used to maybe the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th rep with a certain weight. So that makes the body grow then, going through this pain barrier, experiencing pain in your muscles and aching and just then go on and go on and then go on. And this last 2 or 3 or 4 repetitions, that's what makes actually the muscle then grow. And that divides then one from a champion and one from not being a champion. If you can go through this pain barrier, you make it to be a champion. If you can't go through, forget it. And that's where most people lack, is on this having the guts to go in and just say, I go through and I don't care what happens. You know, it aches, and if I fall down, I have no fear of fainting in a gym, because I know it could happen. I threw up many times while I was working out, but it doesn't matter, because it's all worth it.
You just keep after him. Wherever he goes, you pose down with him, right next to him. Let the judges make a comparison. You're 6'5", you're going to be the biggest thing that ever went out on that platform at 275 pounds, Louis. They know that, and he knows it. This is for the big baby, Louis. This is for all the marbles, and we're going to go after it, right? 1 year of training, all wrapped up in one night, Louis. Remember that. When you step out there, boy, remember all those grueling nights and mornings in the gym. And this is it. This is the reward, and we want it. We want it so bad that we can taste it. Remember that when we get out on that stage, right? We got to get so excited, Louis, that when we get out there, we have only one thought in mind. That's the Olympia. We're going to win.
See, the king of the hill can only go down.
Right.
The king of the hill can only go down. There's no
stay up.
Or stay on the hill. Right.
That's the other fun thing.
Stay on the hill. Right.
Stay up.
But the wolf on the hill.
Over the hill.
Oh, look, the wolf on the hill, right, is not as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill.
That's true.
See?
He's not as hungry, but when he wants the food, it's there. The greatest feeling you can get in a gym, or the most satisfying feeling you can get in the gym, is the pump. Let's say you train your biceps. Blood is rushing into your muscles, and that's what we call the pump. Your muscles get a really tight feeling, like your skin is going to explode any minute. You know, it's really tight. It's like somebody blowing air into your muscle. It just blows up, and it feels different. It feels fantastic. It's as satisfying to me as coming is, you know, as having sex with a woman and coming. And so can you believe how much I am in heaven?
Now, of course, people ask me all the time. They say to me, what is the secret to success? The first rule is trust yourself. But what is most important is that you have to dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. And I'm talking about not what your parents and teachers want you to be, but you. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it may sound to the people. Number one is, of course, trust yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks. And of course, rule number two is break the rules. We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. It is impossible to be a maverick or a true original if you're too well behaved and not want to break the rules. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe. After all, what is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? The only way that I ever got any place was the breaking some of the rules. Which of course brings me to rule number 3. Don't be afraid to fail. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. So you can't always win, but don't be afraid of making decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear of failure, or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision. And you know that it's the right thing to do and success will come. So don't be afraid to fail. Which brings me to rule number 4, which is don't listen to the naysayers. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this and you can't do that and it's never been done before? I love it when someone says that no one has ever done this before, because then when I do it, that means that I'm the first one that has done it. So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done. I never listen that you can't. I always listen to myself and said, yes, you can. And that brings me to rule number 5, which is the most important rule of all. Work your butt off. Leaving no stone unturned. Muhammad Ali, one of my great heroes, had a great line in the 70s when he was asked, how many sit-ups do you do? He said, I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting. When I feel pain, that's when I start counting, because that's when it really counts. That's what makes you a champion. That's the way it is with everything. No pain, no gain. So, yeah, partying, horsing around. Someone out there at the same time is working hard. Someone is getting smarter and someone is winning. Just remember that. Now, if you want to win, there's absolutely no way around hard work. None of my rules, by the way, of success will work unless you do. I've always figured out that there's 24 hours a day. You sleep 6 hours, and you have 18 hours left. Now I know there's some of you out there now and says, well, wait a minute, I sleep 8 hours or 9 hours. Well, then just sleep faster, I would recommend. That takes me to rule number 6, which is a very important rule. It's about giving back. Whatever path that you take in your lives, you must always find time to give something back. Something back to your community, give something back to your state or to your country. Let me tell you something, reaching out and helping people will bring you more satisfaction than anything else you've ever done. The world, remember those 6 rules. Trust yourself, break some rules, don't be afraid to fail, ignore the naysayers, work like hell and give something back.